As 2017 began, Hoosier Hills Food Bank was coming off the biggest year in its history. But hunger doesn't give you the opportunity to rest on your laurels, so we resolved to do even better during our 35th anniversary year. No year is typical, but this is a small glimpse of what taking the hunger out of poverty requires in an average year.
A staff of 14 can't possibly move 4 million pounds to 100 agencies in 6 counties while running 200 direct service distributions by itself.
Volunteers are the heart of the food bank, and in 2017, 2,098 of them gave us over 16,000 hours of time.
That all starts in January with Martin Luther King Day and 100 volunteers in the warehouse, but continued throughout the year with everyone from Mandela Fellows to Marathon Oil staff lending a hand in every aspect of the food bank's work.
And while people are key, funds are also crucial. So February brings the Soup Bowl, our biggest fundraiser. The 23rd annual saw 750 people enjoy soup, fellowship, and the amazing music of the IU Soul Review. Soup Bowl raises about 10% of the dollars it takes to run the food bank each year.
March brought several other annual events like the Pie Run, IU Health Food Drive, and the annual meeting, when the staff transformed the warehouse into a jade and coral banquet hall to mark the 35th anniversary, and Mayor John Hamilton joined us in proclaiming that hunger is not an option.
Nothing else matters if people don't have enough food to eat. And the people we're working to help are struggling to do that.
Spring brought even more activity as the Bloomington Community Farmers Market opened April 1st, with our staff there every week for the next 6 months to accept donations of fresh, local produce. By May, money gets tight, and we needed both local and national partners. Fortunately, Blooming Foods customers donated through Positive Change, while Walmart's Fight Hunger, Spark Change campaign raised much-needed funds.
Food is also depleted by May, but it brings the biggest of our over 100 community food drives, Stamp Out Hunger, sponsored by the National Association of Letter Carriers each year. Through months of preparation, volunteers folded and stapled bags to 55,000 postcards, and the 25th annual food drive brought in a record of nearly 49,000 pounds. In June, IU First Year Experience sent the O-Team to volunteer, and we picked up weekly from the orientation food drive for incoming freshmen, who contributed all summer.
But there's much more to running a nonprofit than just meeting your mission goals each day, and for Hoosier Hills Food Bank, accountability is both a goal and a requirement. 2017 was a perfect storm of compliance monitoring. In May, AIB International conducted a third-party food safety audit, which we passed with an outstanding score. In June, Feeding America's biennial compliance audit evaluated 23 aspects of operations, and we were found fully compliant in all areas. United Way of Monroe County also recertified us as a member in June, and the annual financial audit was clean. So were visits from the State Department of Health and the USDA. While we keep up standards every day, weeks of preparation also go into each audit. Much more fun in June was the 11th Annual Hunger Action Awards in the IMU Tutor Room, when we celebrated and honored volunteers, agencies, and supporters and broke out the jade and coral t-shirts.
While the food bank never engages in partisan politics, we do advocate on behalf of hunger-related issues and try to inform elected officials. This summer, we joined many community advocates in successfully asking the MCCSC School Board to end lunch shaming of children, and we hosted a visit by Indiana Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch in July. While the vast majority of our support is private, we do rely on some government grants, and public policies have a big impact on food insecurity. We have to promote awareness and stay engaged. We also try to be visible at events like the Bloomington 4th of July Parade and the Monroe County Fair each summer.
Alas, the summer wasn't all fun and games, as we weathered some very expensive bad luck. One box truck was in an accident and out of commission for several weeks, and then our biggest truck had what the repair shop described as a heart attack. We also had to remove a tree, fix the air conditioning, and discovered a water line leak to our warehouse that required major repairs. Keeping 9 vehicles and a warehouse in good shape is our daily challenge, but this year it was tougher. Altogether, we had to absorb over $36,000 in unplanned expenses just to keep things going.
Another challenge of food banking is that while we gratefully accept all food donations, we have little control over what donors give us. And to be honest, it's usually what no one else wanted. One of the best ways for us to improve nutrition quality is by sourcing and distributing more fresh produce. We pick up produce every day from our retail donors, but we also planted and harvested 55% more from our own garden in Will Detmer Park, and we gleaned produce from Harriman Farms. We leveraged large produce donations by paying transportation and processing costs when we had the funding, and in July, Walmart came through with a large state giving grant that allowed us to bring in potatoes, apples, oranges, pears, cabbage, and watermelons, and start a partnership with Growing Opportunities to purchase fresh greens. We kicked off Hunger Action Month on September 1st with another Farm Fresh Friday drive-through distribution of more than 25,000 pounds of fresh produce to 463 individuals in 7 hours.
The recipients of that one-time produce distribution joined the monthly direct service clients that the food bank serves, including 1,000 senior citizens and over 1,100 mobile pantry clients. But our primary clients are our 100 nonprofit agencies, food pantries, kitchens, shelters, youth programs, daycares, recovery centers, domestic violence programs, and others working to solve a host of regional problems. In September, we hosted an agency conference, bringing them together to share best practices and receive training updates. September also means back to school, so we welcomed 4 new interns to the team and restarted collections from IU and MCCSC, with volunteers ultimately repacking over 60,000 meals for our Meal Share Prepared Food Rescue program.
October brings the Community Book Fair, a 6-day event at the Monroe County Fairgrounds that is the food bank's second largest fundraiser. Over 100,000 books have been received, sorted, and packed all year to get ready. While most staff continue holding down the fort and distributing food, our development staff camps out at the fairgrounds for 2 solid weeks of setup, selling books, and teardown. It's a great community tradition for a great cause. Another October annual food bank tradition is Hoosier Hysteria, with IU fans donating over 7,000 pounds of food as they entered Assembly Hall.
Saturday, November 18th was the big day, Hoosier Hills Food Bank's 35th anniversary. And while we did set up a display at City Hall to celebrate, we didn't have a party or a fancy reception. We found a better way to market by delivering 3 tons of fresh potatoes to Pantry 279 for distribution to 1,200 people with their Thanksgiving baskets. The following week, we delivered another 200 bags of potatoes to Community Kitchen, along with a truckload of groceries for their Thanksgiving distribution. Those were the highlights, but our staff was busy all month long picking up from food drives and helping agencies across the region get ready for Turkey Day while thanking our food donors with the Children's Art Calendar.
That continued in December as agencies worked on their Christmas programs. But in addition to moving food, we worked behind the scenes to wrap up the year and start the cycle again by getting ready for 2018. November and December account for 25% of all our fundraising revenue, so the development team worked on our holiday mailings, advertising, food drives, and events. Operations staff picked up over 400,000 pounds of food from more than 120 donors, and program staff served the largest number of clients all year. Our monthly staff meeting included discussions of our goals, and our board met to review our fundraising plans and approve a budget. In the end, despite a lot of obstacles, we came very close to breaking our record, and 2017 turned out to be the second biggest year in our history. with over 4.2 million pounds of food, including more than 1.1 million pounds of fresh produce distributed.
Obviously, our year included a lot more activity that we just don't have the time to show, including 3 drivers picking up food from dozens of retail donors every day, and regular deliveries to agencies in 6 counties, among many other things. And ironically, it usually ends with a whimper, because we take the last 2 days of the year to hold inventory static and do a verified count with our auditors. But we also get ready to start all over again on January 2nd, when tickets went on sale for Soup Bowl 2018.
What we hope to show with this project is how much goes into keeping Hoosier Hills Food Bank going every year. It's so much more than just handing out food. From picking garden vegetables in the summer heat to getting old trucks started in sub-zero weather, fitting kiwis into Star Wars bags, repacking pizza, putting labels on 60,000 cans of beans, training volunteers, finding new ways to earn and sustain community support. Audits, regulations, fun, hard work, successes, mistakes, failures, who we are, what we do, and how we do it, so they have an understanding of what it takes. Because whatever it takes, ultimately what's more important is why we do it. Because no one deserves to go hungry. Nothing short of a zero-tolerance policy is acceptable. In 35 years, some causes may have changed and many have stayed the same, but the need for what we do remains, and there's an underlying message in this work that has only increased in resonance. How we treat each other matters, and how we treat the least among us matters most. Not one child, not one senior, and not one in between. Hunger is not an option.